Hi everyone. Just a few comments on all the Piscean energy with particularly with the North Node. Personally myself, I've just been having so many dreams, so many. I honestly I've been struggling to sleep because I'm just dreaming all the time. You know, in the dream state, you're not in a really deep sleep. You're kind of half asleep and half awake. So you can feel, you know, how you can feel your body when you're sleeping, you can feel yourself waking up out of a dream, you know, that kind of state. It's an altered state of consciousness, which of course is Neptune, Pisces, 12th house. And so, you know, here we have the North Node, Neptune, Venus, you know, all lined up there. There's so much going on in the collective with this energy, and there's so much, I think, for each of us individually. I just wondered how many of you are noticing an increased, increased experience of intuition and increased experience of dreams as well. It's a really, um, it's such a bizarre feeling, very difficult to put into words, as Pisces, Neptune, 12th house is, because none of those archetypes or energies really are about words or this reality. You know, they're quite the opposite to that, that those energies really describe everything outside of this reality, everything outside of the, you know, the norm and the structures and how we normally might perceive or view reality. So it can be a bit of a, you know, just an altered state of consciousness just on a daily basis. It's really bizarre, but it's really wonderful as well, especially with Venus there, because Venus is in her exalted sign. Once again, I'm going to come back and speak to Venus separately, as she will be retrograding pretty soon, and she will be, you know, forming her conjunction to the Sun, becoming the Aries Venus morning star, etc. I will do a separate video, but just this morning, I just wanted to quickly jump on and just really ask, you know, all you guys, how are you feeling with this triple conjunction here still with Venus, Neptune, North Node? Now, as I said in my new moon video, this Venus-Neptune conjunction, this is the last time we will experience this in this lifetime, you know, so it's quite a big, important closure. But on the other hand, it has something very new opening as well because of the North Node. And the North Node is typically what describes the direction that the collective is moving towards. And the two main things that I'm noticing at the moment for myself that maybe you will be able to relate to is the increased intuitive experience and the increased dream state that I'm in. And both those experiences are giving me a lot of things to consider, to think about, to feel into. Um, it's sort of a little bit muddled at the moment, as water is. You know, when you go into the territory of water, it's the territory of the soul, right? It's the landscape of feelings, and it's the landscape of memory. You know, things that belong to the past as well, especially with Cancer. But with Pisces, it's very much about this blissful dream state. And I was thinking a lot about dreams and how they purely correspond to the subconscious and unconscious elements in our psyche. And just the fact that this whole existence, in one way, is one big dream as well. And it's a little bit like we're having this dream, which is our life, like this dream experience. And every now and then we have these moments where we wake up through the dream because we realize something, right? And it's not even that we're realizing it, it's just that we are waking up to it. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but it does make sense to me. And I think and again, I'm going to come back and talk about the nodes in the axes of Pisces, Virgo separately. But a few things to start to consider that might be coming up for you as well are with the South Node in Virgo, the the main thing that's probably going to come up for all of us and for the collective as a whole is the perhaps the clarity of what we really want to be doing with our life that really has a connection to something, a connection to something bigger than ourselves. So it's a little bit like it's going to be more difficult for people to just do things or engage in work or different things in their life that really don't have much meaning, that really don't bring them a connection to something bigger, a connection to the source, creation to all things. So it's a little bit like really questioning and going through a process of, am I really content with what I'm doing here? Am I doing this just purely for a selfish reason? That would be Leo. Nothing against Leo. Leo is wonderful. It's a beautiful energy, but we're talking about what's before Virgo. It's actually Leo, right? So there's that energy is behind it, right, as it were. Um, and with Virgo, there's this sort of realization of our flaws, our imperfections, right? And with the Pisces, the North Node in Pisces, the invitation is to really integrate a greater sense of compassion, first of all for ourselves relative to our shortcomings and our flaws and our imperfections, and realize that there's beauty in everything, in the flaws and in the imperfections, and finding some path that gives us a greater sense of connection to the whole, right? Because the whole, which is the oneness, which is the unity of everything, is basically Pisces, Neptune, 12th house. So that's kind of the territory, the zone that we are stepping towards. And I feel like what's happening at the moment with the Neptune still very close to the North Node and Venus there, of course, that the dream and intuitive activity that's going on very strongly for a lot of people. I think it's actually what's going to help us to become, believe it or not, to become more clear about the dreams that we have in terms of what we want to create, for the rest of our lives and for our life here, in this reality, for our purpose, right? For what feels that, that but makes us feel more aligned and connected to something um, that's that's spiritual, for lack of a better word, remembering our spiritual nature, our spirit self, and all the imperfections and flaws that exist in our character, in our personality, in our day-to-day reality, Virgo, right? It's about accepting that and forgiving that, and just moving into something that really enables us to connect to everybody with compassion, right? And with acceptance. And I think the biggest thing with the North Node in Pisces is the trusting of surrendering into what you can't perhaps feel like you have complete control over, and what doesn't appear at the moment as completely concrete, right? It might be blurry. It might be just a dream that you have about what you want to create. It might just be a feeling state, and at that point, it's not quite tangible. And so the answer to that stream of experience, if you're having that, is the trusting and the surrendering into what you can't actually bring into one complete tangible form right now, but it will manifest or it will evolve towards that, primarily with your ability to trust what you can't control and what can't be completely seen right now. And I think the intuitive components that are very heightened at the moment and much more sensitive, and the dreams that we might be having, those two things especially are, really critical key components and helping hands, basically, for what's coming for you moving forward relative to this North Node in Pisces. So I just wanted to share those few ideas with all of you and see how you're feeling about this, and if you relate to this, of course. And yeah, please feel free to share and ask questions and so forth. And I'll see you guys very soon. Sending you all so much love. I'm still on a high from Boris Brejcha, believe it or not. Still on a high. It's like 6 days later, and I'm still feeling that vibration. It's just pure, pure, pure magic. And there are some people that don't believe in magic. And I came across somebody who's very well followed on Facebook, actually. I've just forgotten his name. Anyway, he's very science, left brain, concrete material has to be proven, that kind of way of life, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But this particular individual spends a lot of energy and time in really discriminating and trying to poison people with his comments by putting down people who believe in magic, right? And it's obvious that he actually doesn't understand what magic actually is. How do you experience it? How do you work with magic? What is it? Because it's many different things. And Venus in Pisces, Neptune in Pisces, and North Node in Pisces, that trio certainly equates to magic. It's really just about being able to see through the veil so that you can tap into that magic. Sending you all much love and see you soon.